Hi guys, this is Earthling. I think that I am really going to try to have a conversation about cobwebs. Um, I don't know that it's going to be a strict science conversation about cobwebs. Well, this is what I know about cobwebs, as we all know. Cobwebs are broken spiderwebs with accumulated dust and human skin and so on, all wrapped up together. Um, I guess that, maybe I wanted to talk about spider webs. I don't know. Anyway, this is my take on cobwebs. So, I don't really clean down cobwebs that much anymore. I kind of used to, like, I would see them at least in my room and be like, okay, let me clean that, wipe that out. Da, da. Now I'm kind of like, why? Why am I cleaning this cobweb? Why am I even like dusting this dust? And it's not like I like dust, but it's not being disturbed in a particular place. I mean, if I want like a book or something and it happens to have something dust or cobweb on it, I'll take it outside and I'll dust it. Great. But other than that, why am I messing with this cobweb? Now, that said, should I is there like a limit? Is this going to be like some kind of a crazy horror movie where it gets to the point where there's this, it looks like it's an abandoned building and there's huge spiders all over the place? No, I'm probably not going to leave things to that extent. But at the same time, I think that there are certain things and certain areas of, one's surroundings that need regular cleaning. And then there are others that probably don't. And that's how I feel about cleaning cobwebs, I guess. Um, with respect to spider webs, particularly, I think spiders are amazing. I love spiders. I hate to kill them, like these daddy long legs, and I feel like I'm getting a little bit away from cobwebs. The thing is that, hmm, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to be able to put this out. What am I going to actually say about cobwebs? That when I look at them, I feel like sneezing, or I feel like I should be feeling like sneezing. They look dirty and messy and like they need to be cleaned. um, yeah, that's how I normally feel about cobwebs for the most part. But for example, I just saw a cobweb that was on my bicycle tire. It's flat, as a matter of fact. And I don't really have any inclination to wipe that because I feel like I have more important things to do than to attend to that cobweb right now. If I need to use my bike, yeah, if the cobwebs are on it, I'm gonna take it out and take it outside, get a brush it off, um, and that's gonna be where that is. Now, isn't it kind of weird that I'm going to take this brush off these cobwebs, brush off this dust, and I'm not going to think too much about where this dust and cobwebs are going to end up after I've dusted them off. I guess I just assume that the rain will fall and there'll be enough water to wash away that dust or cobwebs wherever it is I leave them. Anyway, um, with respect to spider webs, amazing stuff. Spiderweb is amazing stuff that occurs naturally that we haven't figured out a way to make yet. That is just crazy. That every time you read the newspaper, they're like, scientists, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, really? We haven't gotten around to making artificial spider web? What is up with that? I mean, what is it that the newspapers and magazines and science articles, they're always, presenting us with this, look at this is the future. And then it just, they bury it under like a bunch of other newspapers full of other, prognostications about what the future is going to be like. And you never hear from it again. And then, bit by bit, new things come, and there's nothing that's ever like, wow. I mean, do you remember what was the name of this device? This the thing with wheels that people travel on throughout cities. I can't remember what the name of it was. The segway, right? When the segway was supposed to be released, however many years ago, the guy had a marketing campaign and he called it It. You know, I don't know if he changed the name as soon as he presented it finally. But isn't that kind of crazy? He was really thinking that this is going to revolutionize traveling in cities and da 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 and whatever else. And nothing. People came out and they were like, "What? This is it? This is the best you got?" But anyway, back to cobwebs. Well, the Segway thing, it's just kind of sad. I feel sad for the guy because I have felt like that. I felt, oh, I have something that's going to be amazing and everybody's going to love it. And then when I tried to market it or I tried to get other people excited about it, they're like, I don't think so. Not really. It reminds me, I was in an interview once, and I think one of the people who was there was like a hater, and I was presenting stuff that I had done, and when I showed the guy, now, okay, admittedly, the thing that I had done was a little bit more revolutionary at the time that I did it, and a couple years had passed since then. It was just simply a thing where you could edit your page, your website, like a page on your website, right on the page. So you didn't have to pull up a program to do it or anything like that. It was for a simple page. I was doing some web development or whatever. It was a simple page where the owner of the website, they would give my boss to do any major work. But for example, like an announcement or something, they would just like to be able to make that announcement straight away, right away. They don't have to call anybody to do anything. They just do it. So, I made that. And when I showed the guy in the interview, this was somebody who was a web designer, and I'm supposed to be like a web programmer. And he was like, "What? That's it?" And at the time, it just like, whoa. He did like a leg sweep. It just, whoa, really? Because I'm thinking like, if you're a web designer, you know that you could spend a long time on something. And then when you're done, somebody could, who's really rude, can come up and say, "That's it? That's all you did?" So for him to do that to me, I was just like, but I figured that he probably heard how much the people were thinking of paying me, and it probably like adjusted his attitude about how to talk about me in the interview as well. So, but yeah, back to cobwebs. Cobwebs and spiders are amazing because, all right, there's several. There are many different types of webbing. There's the dry webbing, that's the frame for a cobweb or a spider's web, and that's dry. And on that frame, there is sticky web that can go on the frame, and that sticky web is supposed to actually catch any insects, right? So here's a fly flying around, runs into the cobweb, into the spider web. It gets stuck on the sticky web. The frame of the web is dry webbing, and that transmits vibrations to the spider, telling him, "Hey, somebody's stuck in here." Then the spider comes up to the web, and of course, as long as it's not a dangerous thing that it's caught, it'll try to cover the insect in I don't know if it's the same kind of. I think it would have to be either like dry webbing or maybe a third type of webbing, because if it's dry webbing, then maybe it might be easy for the insect to get out of. If it's sticky webbing, then it might be that it might stick on the spider, you know, because even the spider itself, when it's traveling across the web, it can't be walking on the sticky web, otherwise it's going to get stuck too. So I think there may be at least the three types of webbing. Of course, spiders that don't make webs, they would use spider web as well, but that's just to capture their prey, you know. And then, of course, you inject your prey with your digestive fluids. It seems those small animals seem to have so much digestive fluids at their disposal, right? Like flies vomit onto the food that they want to eat, and then they suck up that stuff. And then spiders, they inject their saliva into you, and that, well, saliva is venom. I think it's similar because, venom is like in another animal, like a snake, is like modified saliva as well. So, and that actually starts breaking down food, the animal, in a similar way to what spider venom does too. So that's two animals, but it's just kind of interesting that they just, here are my digestive fluids, blah. So and of course, I guess that's what happens with a web that's in a house, like dust that is coming off of our bodies all the time. Like, when you look into a beam, a sunbeam, you're seeing dust that just probably came out of your hair or it came off of your arm and it's just hanging in the air. And of course, that collects onto the sticky web of spiders' webs. And after a while, I guess it begins to look, a little bit dandruffy looking, and maybe it's useless, and maybe the spider died, so there's nobody to repair it. I don't know if they can clean the sticky web. It doesn't seem like they would. So it might be like they might just abandon the whole web and go somewhere else and do something else. So I don't know. But all in all, and then the spiders' webs are so light and so strong. I mean, why hasn't somebody done some kind of GMO yeast thing to make sticky or dry spider webbing? It seems like this light, strong material is something that all of us would need. I mean, rope, clothing. It might be difficult to dye cobweb. I'm not sure how good the material might be at absorbing particular types of dyes and so on. But you'd only know. But and even silk. Why is it that they haven't? I mean, well, it's funny that I say silk because silk is another term that people use for spider web, spider silk. So you have silkworms. I wonder if they still use, in 2019, how are we still using silkworms? I have to look that up. This is some of the random stuff that I look up because I want to know, Like, I wanted to know what the ROI on movies with female leads were compared to men. And wouldn't you know that movies with female leads, apparently they make more money than movies with male leads. They categorized they categorized movies recently, but that was something that I looked up, and it was pretty interesting. And this is the thing. I mean, women want to see women's movies. I'm sure there's so many women. My mother, my sister, other relatives, half sisters probably. They probably want to see, women's movies. I don't understand. Well, I guess when you're a one thing, you just have blinders to everything else. When you're a guy, you just think, hey, maybe that's all that women want to see, or anybody wants to see, or guy movies. So maybe that's all I should do. Anyway, this was a mad ramble, wasn't it? So I just wanted to see how much I could put on cobwebs, and it turns out that it wasn't much that was directly on cobwebs. But before this gets too long, if you hate it, give it a thumbs down. If you don't hate it, give it a thumbs up. And of course, you can always, well, comment and subscribe and share to someone else that look at what this crazy person put on the internet on a channel. All right, peace.